vintage stereo restorers. Here on the bench in pieces is a Nikko TRM-230, early 70s. This is the aluminum faceplate. I love these receivers, the solid aluminum faceplates, the bright, beautiful knobs. They're a bit of a work of art. Anyway, let's talk about the restoration. Today I want to talk about something. We've talked about recapping units, about replacing noisy transistors. Well, I've replaced every transistor in this one except the 4 outputs, which somebody else had done already. But this needed a recapping. It had a few caps replaced. And just like many units that still work but just don't sound that great, this one had a lot of noise. The phono left channel would drop out on occasion, and it wasn't the switch. I saw that the switch had been resoldered. It actually was a jumper lead that comes off the switch and goes right there. It wasn't soldered properly. Cold solder joint. Anyway, what I want to talk about today is once you get it together and you're testing it and making sure everything's okay, these older units have bias adjustments and center voltage adjustments. And the thing about that is, almost every time I'll see a restoration, they'll put in Nishikon gold capacitors and do this amazing job, but they'll leave the old crappy carbon pots on the board, which never work right as they age. They're always like, it would be noisy if it was a volume control, but they have dropouts. They're thermally sensitive. Some of them even go microphonic. I put in better ones like the CenterLab, and then the latest one, of course, are the fully enclosed ones like that. It just makes it set up so well and it's stable. But the one thing about doing a setup, you need test points. And I printed out, courtesy of Hi-Fi Engine, sorry about that, this test manual for the 210, which is basically the 230 minus a few switches. It talks about first you set the center voltage. Well, the only place to grab center voltage was on the solder side of the board, which can be a little bit touchy. I mean, whatever clips you use, you could end up touching something else, shorting an output transistor. Some units, some Sansuis and Yamahas have test points. They'll have little test points out of the board. We used to call them spades. But anyway, this one didn't have that. So I actually installed two to measure center voltage. And then to measure the bias, you need to get onto one of the emitter resistors. And of course, they had insulation on each lead. So I removed the insulation on one side and moved it over so it couldn't touch anything. And that's, I guess, it's very important that you have a place where you can firmly clip on and it can't short something out. Because it's happened to me. I remember one amp I was working on, it was a Sansui 555, I think. I was trying to check the bias on it and clipped onto a resistor, and it touched the metal case of a transistor, which is collector. Just a little popping noise blew that transistor. So that's why, you got to be very careful. I've had tube amp stuff where you'll short something out and you'll have it running on the board for 10 minutes and nothing happens. But with solid state, it's very easy to short something out and lose a transistor. Thankfully, transistors are better and cheaper than they've ever been. Anyway, this TRM-230, I've never owned one of these. Familiar with the TRM-40A and 40B, which was like a generation older than these. They were germanium transistor. So I'm going to get this together, set the bias and everything, and just see what it sounds like. These are supposed to have a very nice, warm, tube-like sound. Thanks for watching and listening.